Now that's what I wanted to say. Grace and Gloria, oh my words. Like, yo, like, let's go straight honest here, like, from the start. Okay, Amazoness cards, I've always fucking loved. Like, I've actually always enjoyed them. I've never actually mainly used them. I've always wanted to be like, yeah, I'll use Amazoness cards. But unfortunately, like, cause that was one of my favorite things. And I was like, oh, like, there's Amazoness cards. But I was like, oh, but I can use, like, their fucking cousins. Like, this was, like, how stupid I was back in the day when I was, like, originally back into like, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I was, like, fucking, like, 11, 12. Like, but it was like, I'll use their fucking cousins, the Gladiator. I always, like, had this dumb, like, thing that like the Gladiator beast and like the Amazones were like either like some weird relatives or like they were fucking rivals of some sort. And I was like, yeah, Amazones are really cool, but oh, Gladiator beast, there's more of them, so I want to have them. And it's like, that was the whole thing back in the day, and I was like, oh, they're so fucking badass. So we finally get to see the duel between Sayaka and Alan having a tag duel against Grace and Gloria, who, whew, oh my word. I like these twins a lot, these Tyler twins and all that. They're known, and I love the fact that the whole thing about them is that they're being starved hungry for duel, so that makes them want to win a little bit more. I love, so it's like, no dueling for you, like this dueling filled world. It's like, well, what do fucking people do in these worlds? Like, other apart from, do they just go crazy and just start ripping at the doors or something like that? Because a lot of people in like these worlds don't seem to have a lot of entertainment apart from playing their fucking card game. Although I'm going to be saying out the twins, I like Grace a little bit more. I don't know, there's something about the voice. There's some, she's a lot more elegant, I think, than her sister Grace, but they're both fine ass. Sayaka ended up running off at the end of the episode. It was like, oh, I feel like really bad and all that. After the whole thing that happened was really, every one of the Lancers had to go in. Alan was like, no, I'm gonna find it myself. I don't trust you because your dad left her. And she ended up getting found out by Grace and Gloria. Alan luckily managed to find her, and it was like, we're gonna have like a fucking double duel, like, you know, we get tag duel. I'm like, we haven't had a tag duel in ages. I'm so down for a tag duel. I'm like, the interesting thing is though, they share the same like life points and stuff. And it's like, that's their effect. So I'm like, well, why? Like, so they kind of want to make this duel kind of short. I understand, but I was like, why are they sharing the same life points? It's not even just like, oh, we share 4,000 together. It's like, oh, we both have 4,000. But when we're attacked, we both have the damage dealt. I'm like, no, that's not how a fucking tag duel works. Each person, if you're not going to have it like that, then the only other way is like, no, you give them 8,000 each, or you give them a different way. Like, that would be the sick thing to happen. But Alan, finding out that he runs a machine deck, like running a Ruffian like rail car, which was like an 1800 monster, which he was like, oh, but if it doesn't attack, it was able to deal like 500 points of damage. While Sayaka is able to deal like, her deck is actually a fairy deck, which she was actually bringing out like fairy cheer girl. And I was like, all right, you know, we're getting a little bit of X later, like from ZL love, you know, a little bit XYZ love, but it's like, nah, it's all about Grace and Gloria, because firstly, like, boom, Amazoness Scout. If I got Amazoness in my hand, I can special summon this, sacrifice it, bring out the Queen. The Queen can be destroyed, or any other Amazoness cards like that. Attack the Ruffian rail car, and it was like, Alan, like, I got a bit surprised he was actually kind of smart about this. I was like, why is he not doing anything? And then he comes like, oh, construction train signal ray. It's like, it's not destroyed in battle, and also as well, it's like, you know, it goes into defense position. I was like, that's kind of cool. I was like, he actually thought about that. That was kind of like clever about that. It's like he didn't do it like, so I kind of liked that he did that. Although Sayaka, she was like, I'm gonna, like, you know, I'm gonna do my best. Although she had like with Theory Chirgo, she had like the spell that made sure it can be like destroyed in battle, and also as well, one of this XYZ materials was able to get an extra 500 attack point boost. Thought she could destroy the Amazoness, but unfortunately its effect stopped that. Although the duel just like, it was just them just being either more badass like Grace and Gloria just throughout the entirety of the episode. Because like one thing that I loved about like what we saw is that she was able to bring out like, you know, her own Amazoness Scout by using the Warrior or setting her alive, combine it with the Amazoness Tiger, and it's like, I'm just gonna bring out the Amazoness Liger, and I'm like, that's a cool monster, that's a cool fucking Liger. Like, I like that one a lot. It's like 2,500 attack points, and increases itself like by like 5. I was like, alright, you know, you're gonna do this, you're gonna have this really cool 3,000 attack point monster. I like him a lot, I think he's cool. Does a mean bit of damage though, I really did like that. It's like, even like as well, like, which is other effects, which is fucking ridiculous, which is like, every time a monster attacks and all that, like after the damage calculation, it's like, one of those monsters will lose 800. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like, you can just keep using this guy and a bunch of other monsters just to whittle down, so it's like, you better just have that one big solid monster on the field, otherwise that's going to be a problem. But with how the Amazonas roll, it's like they're easy able to roll out that situation, but it's like Liger's effect was pretty goddamn impressive. Then it was Alan's turn. He was able to like summon another like level 4 like machine monster and able to bring out like it was like this Iron Wolf card. It had like I believe it was like 2200 attack originally, but one of like the XYZ materials get an extra 800 boost, so it was like 3000. And then they're like, yeah, I'm gonna attack it and all that. I'm gonna use this fucking card's effect. And then ending up, we was like, oh shit, I can't attack anything else, but you know, the Liger was the only thing I had to like, could really do anything, and the Amazon is like, I couldn't do not too much to it, which you know was kind of clever. And he's like, oh shit, Fairy Go, use that effect, draw it, limited removal, boom. And I was like, oh my god, the second everyone saw the Amazoness like swordswoman, we were like, oh my god, it's fucking over, it's fucking done, it's done, it's done. Like, no, like obviously like the newer fans don't know what that card is, but everyone knows that Amazoness Swordwoman, even to this day, is a goddamn impressive card because it does so much. It's like, I'm just gonna turn the battle damage back to you. Like, it's like, that is such a good card. And like, everyone was like, I was kind of getting excited. It was like, oh shit, limiter removal. Oh shit, swordswoman. I was like, okay, like, let's see what else you got. Because I was really not expecting too much from these two, from Sayaka and like Alan. I was like they're the XYZ guys. I'm not of the Resistance. I don't really care about the Resistance too much, apart from like Kurosaki and like Yuta. They're like the only ones like I give a fuck about in there. But then they just ended up just making it fucking like, even regardless of all that, it's just like, yeah, we will negate the battle destruction, and even regardless of all that, we can still fuck you up. And then what they use is like a trap card, which was actually kind of clever, where they gave like even after all that, it's like gave Fairy Chirga like all like the attack points, and I was like, alright, you know, that's actually kind of good. She came to 4500, but it's like, oh, it ends at the end of turn, but she switches into defense, and then it was like, oh, we'll just bring out the Amazoness Queen, which just adds piercing like damage into them. The Amazoness Empress, which just adds piercing damage into everything. So it's like, oh, we just use that, and the Liger, and we're just pretty much unstoppable. It's like, you get that, you get the like the Queen, all of them in there. It's just like, you're gonna get like, that's near fucking, they're really strong attack duel, and they're near like unstoppable. And I'm glad that Amazoness are getting this like more support. I mean, it's like Fairy Shirka, I never really cared about his railway deck, and I'm glad that they got beaten up. I was like, yeah, look at these fucking Dweebenheimers getting like pounded in. It was like, oh, then we got Sawatari and like Gorgonzola arriving, but I was like, alright, let's see what these guys can do, right? Like, let's see that. But then from what the preview looks like, it's gonna be Kurosaki and Yuya. I'm like, I'm way more down for that, way more down for a tag duel between them, because it's like, oh, you can have the bits of Yuto like there as well, so you could be like, it'll be Yuto and like her. Like, that's a way better duel than what we get from like Sawatari and Gorgonzola. I'm way down for Kurosaki and Yuya. That's gonna be a way greater duel than like this one was. Even still though, I was actually impressed. I was like, wow, Alan and like what we saw at Sayaka, I was really expecting their decks to be kind of shit. I will say, Sayaka's is like, it's a fairy thing, but it's like, she did have that really good trap card, I will say that. And Alan, he actually has some cool stuff I really liked. He was like, oh, 500 damage from the start, even if I can't attack, alright, clever. And then I get that other construction card out there, get the defense going, can't be destroyed, like, and he had limiter removal. Every machine deck knows you gotta have the limiter removal. It's the fucking thing to go with. Are you in the mood for like a serious attack? Of fucking course, but like, it's like, there's the GX nostalgia boner coming back. It's like, Amazoness are so badass, like, I can't help it. Plus, they're being dealt with like two fine bitches like Grace's like Gloria. Although, you know, like I said, I already have my favorite. Looking forward to seeing what you guys think in the comment section down below. Who's your favorite Alba Tyler sister and all that, Grace or Gloria? And the episode ending off with like Asta like being super pissed off and kind of realizing already, it's like, he's the fucking son of that like piece of shit and all that. Like, I'm gonna beat him up, and it's just like, you see him at the end, he's like, he already had like the ripped up version of Smile one, and I'm like, well, yeah, there's definitely like some anger going there, but it's like, I hope we see more of Grace and Gloria, like, even after this duel, or if it ends off in a draw or something like that, because they're really awesome. I really enjoyed this episode, even regardless of like, it's Sayaka and fucking Alan. Like, it's like, I don't care for them too much. It was like, they had a good duel. At least give this episode a fucking solid like 7.5 to like an 8. I thought it was a really good episode of like Arc 5. But that is all for me. So thank you much for watching. As always, like I said, Grace or Gloria in the comment section down below. We need to sort out the waifu rules. That's important. But that's all for me. Thank you very much for watching. As always, you love your video as much as I do. You know where to hit that like. You know where to hit that subscribe. When they're coming out, I'm telling you though, the Amazoness cards, like Amazoness deck, that's happening. I'll see you guys next time.